Welcome, Leo, to your 2020 reading. I'm Jenny Florence. Welcome back to those of you who are already a part of this amazing community that we're building. That's really what it feels like. It's magical to do the readings for you. And thank you so much for your likes, your shares, your comments, and above all for it's the authenticity, it's the sharing of your journeys, the way you support each other, the way you support me. I'm blown away by that level of desire to find ways through our challenges. And yeah, you're just amazing. Really, there's nothing more to say. You are just amazing. If you are new to this channel, welcome. And welcome to this community. I put a lot of free stuff into the world, a lot of free resources. There's information in the box below if you want to check out any of that, including the possibility of winning a free private reading with me. I offer one of my subscribers a reading every month. And come December, once I've done the 2020 readings, I'll be doing the December ones. I'm going to be giving away a few more things as well, some books, just putting more stuff into the world. But I'll fill you in on that when we get there. Today we're going to be drawing, to start the reading, we're going to be drawing 6 runes, which is more than we usually do, but that's what I was guided to do when I actually meditated before doing any of these readings, and they've been so powerful so far. Okay, our first 2 runes. We have the warrior, the spiritual warrior, and we have the rune of initiation. This is really interesting because both really have a leaning into the spiritual in terms of your journey. The spiritual warrior, it actually says the reward of patience is patience. It's an energy that says, it's almost like kind of like get out of your own way. And you know, it's like we all have stuff in our head. That's just part of being human. And a lot of the time, a big part of our growth and journey is to work out how on earth to bypass it, because it gets in the way. You know, we get involved in thinking patterns, or we overthink, or, you know, we don't think at all. We're just reactive, and then we, you know, criticize ourselves afterwards. It's all this stuff that goes on in our head. This rune asks you to kind of clear that. Cut through it. It's a rune of discernment, and I think sometimes the energy of the cutting through is literally the stuff within us where we block ourselves. So you may have to be discerning, either in terms of yourself or also maybe people around you. For some people it will manifest externally, I think, and for some it will be more of an internal journey. The rune of initiation is lovely. This is all about spiritual growth. This says the universe is at work. It's kind of like behind the scenes, the universe is orchestrating on your behalf. It speaks of, it's almost like the phoenix rising from the ashes of the fire, the eagle soaring free, having a higher vision. Okay, so there is definitely energy available to you. We're looking at the 2020 energy. There's definitely, I'd say, an emphasis on your spiritual pathway, your spiritual awareness, with the universe kind of, I feel like it is orchestrating around you on your behalf, and you're being asked to remove any resistance to that process. It's often the stuff within us that actually gets in the way of, you know, sometimes we can work so hard at manifestation and we wonder why things aren't emerging, but it's almost as though there's still some little crevice of self-doubt in there that's actually causing a block. So it's kind of like bypassing that stuff. Let's draw some more runes. This is lovely. We have the rune of joy. Out of darkness into the light. A period of travail is ended. This is about new energy, new clarity. It's interesting because it does say you might change your goals. You might divert or course correct or change direction in some way. One way or the other. I feel as though it doesn't feel like a new situation. It doesn't feel like something that happens suddenly. I think you're well on this pathway already. That's really the energy that I'm feeling. It's almost as though you're having to it feels like sort of spring cleaning, for want of a better way of saying it. It's like spring cleaning any of the corners of your house where there still might be some dust that's settled that could be blocking the energy flow. That's the kind of flavour of it. Out of darkness into light, I do believe there's a significant transition of energy around you. Very interesting runes. We have the rune of journey, communication, union, reunion, and the rune of disruption. Now, with the rune of journey, that usually means, it usually refers to an inward journey. So for me, that connects to what I was really hearing around this sort of spring cleaning. It's kind of removing any obstacles. This rune does speak exactly of that. It speaks of any internal blocks that if you, as they surface, just systematically sort of clean them up, remove them, put them down, keep your energy flowing. The universe is wanting to work with you, orchestrating around you. The rune of disruption is interesting because it speaks of freedom, of liberation, a kind of a need for the psyche to break free from something. Now, for some of you, that could literally mean a situation where you felt trapped or enclosed, or, life just isn't working for you. And, somehow you just reach a point where you need to move beyond it. For others, I think the disruption will be a need to break free from any kind of residue of patterns that have been holding you back. So I think for some people it may manifest in their external world. For others, I think it will be much more of an internal journey. In all honesty, it will be an internal journey whichever way you look at it, because it always is. When we do the internal work, our external lives begin to then correlate accordingly. I'll draw one more rune. Magnificent energy, Leo, or moon in Leo, Leo rising, sun in Leo, anyone cross-watching for friends and family and loved ones. Breakthrough. We have the rune of breakthrough, a major shift. This can sometimes be literally like a 180-degree turn. It can mean you really, really do say, do you know what, enough's enough, I'm moving in a completely different direction, or I'm heading off to the other side of the world, or I'm going to change career, or I'm going to do the opposite of everything that I thought I was going to do a year ago, because somehow the energy has orchestrated to help you to see clearly. I mean, this is the rune of joy, out of darkness into light, new energy, new clarity. Curiously enough, sometimes with the rune of disruption, it can be something that suddenly happens that causes us to see clearly, to see the light. At other times, it is literally almost like a gradual awakening, where one day we just literally wake up and think, wow, how did I get to here? Or I am here, and what do I want to do now? That there's this moment of sort of realization. It feels like a light bulb kind of moment, but it's very empowering. And I do think it creates a major shift. The rune of breakthrough says that the outcome is assured because the timing is right. However, it also says that the outcome, even though it's assured, might not look as we thought it would be. Okay? Now, it's really interesting because I could just say to you, it's kind of like the universe gives us what we need rather than what we want. But this feels more than that. That flavour of energy is that feels as though that's more what I would call the everyday circumstances, where we're given certain circumstances that highlight where we need to spring clean, where we need to tidy things up in order to move forwards, to keep our energy clean so that we are free for it to flow through us and to work with us. Okay, that sort of saying feels more like the everyday stuff. This feels different, it's bigger. This is like a major breakthrough. Whatever area of your life this comes, I'm going to say it's really timely and it's right that it happens. And I think it's something you've been working towards for quite a while. I think you've been tackling situations both inwardly and outwardly that have gradually led to it's like a raising of your consciousness, a raising of your energy, a raising of your vibration. There's still a feeling of needing, it's this spring cleaning, that's what I'm really hearing clearly, of needing to cleanse, release, in order to make sure that the energy can literally flow with you and you are in alignment with the energy, so that it's working with you and you are working with it, so to speak. I'm going to move these up because we're going to be drawing a lot of cards. It's a big reading. Such an exciting year. I mean, it's just the most amazing time to be alive, really. I don't know what else to say, but it is. I'm going to draw from one of the tarot packs. Ooh. This is interesting, Knight of Swords. This would suggest that things happen. Now, bearing in mind it's a big reading, this connects into the rune of disruption. It means stuff happens, but it's happening with purpose. If you find yourself in a position where you have to take a diversion, or you're knocked off course, or something doesn't run smoothly, rather than getting kind of basically pissed off about it, trust that it is showing you something. Okay, this is definitely for you guys a year to lean into the trusting of the universe. It's like really discovering, this is what it feels like, a year where you discover that the universe actually desires to work with you. It's almost as though, I think that may for some of you really be the essence of the light bulb moment or moments, or this gradual realization that actually the world can really, really work with you and for you. We have to align with the energy. That's quite a powerful message, but that's what I'm really hearing. This suggests that stuff happens outside of you, disruptions maybe, inconveniences, plans needing to be altered with purpose. There's a greater plan involved. This is the spirituality aspect of the reading too. We then have the Chariot. This card says when something happens that you need to take action. Something happens that causes you to have to respond, okay? This card is asking you, there's quite a clear message coming through, you need to be in your own driving seat. That's what I'm really hearing. The Empress. Don't cling to anything that is seemingly needing to be let go of, okay? This is, again, a card of harvest. It's a card of gestation, so it means there's a process of transformation taking place. Again, it feels more like transformation or more than transformation. It's not just simply something moving from one form to another, where we kind of outgrow something of our lives. It's, again, it feels more whole and more complete. This is the energy of the initiation rune. It's as though you come to yourself in some way, and you are asked not to cling to anything or any aspect of your old way of being that no longer serves you. Now, for some of you, I do think there may be external changes. For others, it really is a process of internal spiritual growth. Okay, lovely. Let's connect in for a moment to relationships. The spiritual warrior. If I drew this rune in a personal reading and that person had questions about relationships, I would be saying that the relationship is timely and that you are coming together with purpose. The universe again has a hand in it. You've known one another before. You've come here to connect, to reconnect. You know, again, we have this sort of the rune of union and reunion here, the rune of journey. There's purpose to this year for you guys. The sun speaks often of new relationships or of relationships that step up into higher levels of consciousness. Where two individuals remain autonomous, unique, separate people whilst mutually supporting one another. This speaks of relationships of equality. Again, if you're in an existing relationship, it may step up to higher levels of, it is high. It's what I call conscious relating. For some of you, if you are looking for a new relationship or a new relationship evolves during 2020, it is with purpose. And again, I would say if you are looking to call in a soulmate, a very good year to do it, because the universe is wanting to work with you. The universe wishes to orchestrate around you. What you do, of course, have to do is remove any aspect of self-doubt. We then have the Ace of Wands. You see, this is like this 180-degree turn. The timing is right. The energy is with you for new ventures, new creativity, new phases in life. It is as though you really, I want to say, turn a corner in some way, in whatever way that relates to your unique circumstances. 2020 says you turn a corner. And the key is this kind of spring cleaning and understanding yourself from an energetic perspective, removing any aspects of self-doubt, any residue of the past that is lingering, that no longer serves you. Integrate that stuff into your bank of wisdom. Learn from the past, but don't continue to live through it. There's a very big difference. I love this card. I'm drawing from another tarot pack now, and we have the Queen of Wands, which is very interesting. This is the ultimate card of transformation, sitting under the Knight of Swords, where things happen that cause us to have to respond. Guys, I almost feel as though, if... I guess if you're watching a reading like this, you're already walking that pathway. People don't tend to engage with this kind of thing if they're not on the pathway of the spiritual warrior. This kind of stuff is for people who are really dedicated to that journey. The Queen of Wands is the ultimate card of transformation. She has red hair and she sits with a leopard. The story is that she once had black hair and walked with a black panther, and the transformation of her was so great that her hair turned golden and she walked with the lion. She chooses to have red hair, and the panther's black spots remind her of where she's come from. She has integrated her experiences into knowledge and wisdom, and so she walks a pathway of clarity, breakthrough. I was just saying that, if you're looking at this reading, you're on that pathway already. I sort of feel this Knight of Swords has an energy around it that is a little bit mischievous almost. It's like if you're not walking that pathway, you might get an almighty big kick up the bum almost that forces you to have to do so. It's got that sort of slightly trickster energy around it. So if you're not moving in the right direction, again, if there are disruptions, take an approach and a perspective that says, if there's a disruption, it's because I'm needing to hear something and listen to something, and it is timely and right for my evolution. It's right at a level of soul. This is a very transformative year for you guys, very powerfully empowering. But if you're resistant to it, and that's this energy of spring cleaning, if you are resistant to that process of change, if I'm honest, I think it's coming anyway. But it's going to flow a lot more easily if you're working with it. That's the key here, really. Wow, guys, look at the cards we're drawing here. We have the Knight of Wands. This is new passion, new vitality coming in. Again, for some of you, if there is a new relationship, it may be that you meet someone who really kind of literally lights your fire. Someone brings in new vitality, new aliveness. But one way or the other, whether the energy comes into you in the form of someone else, or it just comes into your life because you are transforming. The reality is, at the center of this, you are transforming. And it's your transformation at an energetic level that allows, again, the universe to orchestrate around you and on your behalf. The Princess of Swords is interesting because she has the energy of, again, she's not afraid to step up and say how it is. She defies, I won't say tradition, that's not the right word. But you know that it's what I would call the shoulds and the shouldn'ts that we grow up with. We all grow up with shoulds and shouldn'ts. It's part of life. And in a way, what we have to do as we grow up and evolve is work out whether those shoulds and shouldn'ts are appropriate for us or not. Because the world is changing, we will be of a different generation. The awareness of the people in our growing up years may have been not as expansive as ours is. We have to work those decisions out for ourselves. Again, discernment. Okay, it's like finding your own values. The Princess of Swords is not afraid to say how it is. She is not afraid, again, to be discerning. She's not afraid to literally kind of, this card speaks of, she's not afraid to destroy old altars. Yeah, she won't comply. She's not a compliant person. That's not her energy. But it's great because she overthrows the old in order to make way for the new. What this card does say is, though, at major points of breakthrough and major shifts, let the dust settle. Because if something happens and it causes us to need to respond, it's very helpful if we at least allow the dust to settle before we make clear commitments. Because in the throes of sudden happenings or big happenings, if we stand up for ourselves, for example, afterwards we can feel a vulnerability, or we can feel heightened emotions, and we need to allow those to settle so that we can see clearly. Again, that's about being mindfully in our own driving seat. I'd really like you guys to think of this year as a year of empowerment, where you learn to drive your own chariot, but in doing so, you also do so mindfully. You're not driving recklessly, you're driving mindfully. Okay, you're taking charge because you wish to be discerning and to literally support your own direction. Lovely. Lovely energy, Valor. When we were connecting in with the runes, and I spoke about the spring cleaning, is there any self-doubt left? This card really asks you to dispel any aspect of self-doubt that you may have. This card actually says, do you still doubt your own virtues? Do you still doubt your ability? Step up, be the best version of you. The energy is with you to move things forwards. Make decisions with confidence. That's the flavour of that card. And we have the card of completion. Lovely, lovely energy. Again, it suggests, this is the bigger picture part. Again, the phoenix rising from the ashes, rising above, seeing the bigger picture. The card of completion connecting in with the breakthrough rune, major shift. I don't know that you have a sudden light bulb moment, more that the year may bring you several, but every time it's like you get another bit of awakening, to the point where there is this sense of completion. You come home to yourself. You're in charge of your own life, of your own direction. You have renewed vitality, renewed energy. Again, this is the runes speaking. The cards are very much in tune with the runes here. I'm going to draw from the astrology pack next, actually. Okay, we have the card of Aquarius. I know. And 7th house, partners. Okay, I'm going to pop that up there. Move that over for a moment so that we can have everything. I think that's still in camera. This does connect back into this energy of relationship that is around. What I find myself really connecting into with these cards, Aquarius, I know, 7th house, partners, partnership. I think that we often discover aspects of ourselves within relationship. I think the space that we often get hurt the most in our lives, again, big human thing, is within relationship. It's also the place where we heal the most. And I feel as though there is some aspect of you guys that will evolve to a higher level through the experience of relationship, whether that is working through something with a partner, or whether it's working through something in relation to family, or whether it's within a working environment. I think it's to do with people. And this is what also completes some process where you have been working with aspects of self-doubt, and you've been working with some aspect of needing to stand in your own confidence in some area of your life. I think the areas of your lives will manifest differently, because that's the nature of each of us in our own unique individual way. But something gets completed and it allows you to, I just want to say, stand true, stand firm, be your authentic self. Authenticity, congruence, they're words that we use a lot. It's really about walking our talk. You know, being that is a big step. Lots of people think that they are authentic, but that's not really how they live their lives. Most of us will struggle a little bit with that, even if we're striving. I feel like you guys really do move to another level with this, which is pretty awesome, because of course the moment we do that within ourselves, energetically it shifts and it opens the doorway for the universe to work with us and for us. I'm going to draw from one of the other tarot packs that just connects in with the energy of the people that are around us, the dynamics of the people that are around us, or the dynamics of the lessons, particularly maybe, that we're going to learn from the people around us. Okay, so we have the 8 of air. It's interesting, we have the 8 of air and the 8 of water, 2 8s. So guys, these cards are bringing a very powerful message in terms of putting you in your own driving seat. Because the 8 of air speaks about the ego, truth, consequences. It says that, you know, there's a cause and an effect, and that we are actively co-creating the world that we live in, but we don't always realise it. We don't realise how much our sort of ego mind and the stuff, the clutter of the ego mind, this is this getting out of your own way energy again, gets in our way. This card is like an invitation to really notice where there are any areas within you where your kind of state of mind or the internal dialogue within your mind, any attitudes, any perceptions are clogging you up. It's almost like that's the work, the task in hand. And I think, interestingly enough, it surfaces particularly within relationships. There's this aspect of connecting into the relationships that we have. We all have many in our world. It's not always just, partners. It can be family, friends. There's opportunity within these connections with people. But I would say particularly within partnership to identify and, clear out these aspects of ourselves, any attitudes, any perceptions that are too rigid, anything energetically holding you back. This is lovely because it's kind of almost like giving you an answer. It's like, this is saying, look, there could be a problem here. The ego can really get us into deep water sometimes. And it's followed by this wonderful card, which is like a solution. It says, center yourself in gratitude. Be appreciative of everything that you have. Focus on all that is good. It's this attitude of gratitude because it shifts our energetic resonance. And even if there's stuff in your world that feels as though it holds you back, either disruptions that come along and kind of cause you to have to slow down or change direction, or stuff you feel you want to break free from, whatever it is, if we centre ourselves in appreciation and gratitude, our energetic resonance shifts. And again, it means that whatever we are, whatever changes we desire, the universe will then orchestrate and work around us. Because with an attitude of gratitude, the more that we're centred in that energy, the more that we are offering appreciation, the more we will be appreciated. The more thanks we give, the more we're going to receive. So it's kind of really something of almost like you're learning to use energy, I want to say. You're learning about the resonance of energy and how our energetic resonance is affected by our thinking patterns, by our ego, by our responses to people and to situations in the world. It's kind of like there's these opportunities here to really learn. But as I said, I think you're on that pathway already. You get to complete something here. So there's a fabulous opportunity. This is, as I said, very much giving a little bit of guidance in terms of how to move through and beyond this. This is the cleansing. I'm actually going to draw from the Law of Attraction cards, the Art of Manifestation Oracle cards, actually. I do have Law of Attraction cards, and we may draw from them too. So first of all, we have the card of difficult emotions. This is really interesting. This card asks you to listen to your emotions. Every emotion we have is necessary and important to us, even the challenging ones. Difficult feelings are letting you know that something is not okay. Learn to understand and love your emotions and discover how they serve you. This is a biggie. Anyone who has experienced trauma, difficulty, abuse, challenge in their lives, they will be able to tell you that it's not, physical scars will heal, it's the emotional ones that remain. When we have emotional scars, that can create like an energetic roadblock inside us, for want of a better way of saying it. And what happens is we then approach life through the lens of that scar tissue. So if we are approaching a new relationship and we've been hurt before, we approach it with fear, almost anticipating that the same thing might happen again. Do you see what I mean? But of course, if that's the position that we're sitting in, if that's our resonance, then we're actually almost contributing to the possibility of the very thing that we don't want rather than the thing that we do, if that makes sense, okay? I just want to add to that, guys, do please check out my library. For those of you that don't know about it, it's a completely free resource. It's a completely free resource. The A to Z of emotional health. The link is below in the information box. That's emotions and understanding how to transform the energy of emotions, because they have so much power and energy. Understanding how to transform that energy so it works for us, puts us in our driving seat. That's honestly been a huge part of my life's work. And so there's lots of information there. Likewise, a couple of the books that I've written are really focused on, well, one in particular on managing really difficult emotions and creating that internal shift. Ground yourself. This card is a request to you to literally ground yourself. Go outdoors, take off your shoes and find somewhere where it is safe to stand barefoot. Imagine roots growing out of your feet, travelling down into the soil beneath you, anchoring you with the nurturing energy of the earth. This is really, again, don't let yourself be emotionally swayed. Emotions give you energy. You can channel that energy. Even anger can become assertiveness. If you think about passion, or compassion is like with passion. Passion comes from the same kind of energetic beginning. It's just that we transform it into something positive and powerful that works for us. So I'm just going to shift these up a little bit, because otherwise I don't think these cards are all going to be in camera. So we'll cover that row a little bit. We have a card of course correct. Again, we know that you may be making some twists and turns along the way. I just want to say, allow yourself to do that. If the universe offers you an opportunity to change direction, because I feel like you're going to get your passions ignited. Now, you could be fired up in a really good way, or you could be fired up in a more irritated, challenging way. However that arrives in your world, the universe is orchestrating the energy for you to step into something very new, very vibrant, very alive. Okay? There's something about overcoming this aspect of self-doubt that just keeps coming through. I think it's the self-doubt that is causing the difficult emotions. That's why you're being asked to ground yourself. Part of the course correcting is that too. If we have, if our internal dialogue is full of self-doubt, we might make decisions like, oh, I don't think I'll do that because, I haven't got the confidence and I don't think it'll work out. If you notice yourself having that level of internal dialogue, course correct. This card says, if an obstacle or diversion has interrupted your plans, this card is here to assure you that the delay is providential, bringing you an opportunity to pause and reassess in order to fine-tune your direction. Such a spiritual pathway for you guys this year. We have the card of taking a leap. I love that it sits under the card of valor and completion. This card is an invitation to take a leap of faith. Sometimes, even when we desperately desire change, we procrastinate and find all kinds of reasons as to why we should stay as we are. It is a completely understandable position to be anxious when stepping into the unknown. This card is calling you to trust and to make that move. It's really interesting. There's a lot of that energy around next year. A lot of people are getting this card. Take that leap, course correct, trust. The universe has your back. And this is a magical card to then draw. Intention. This is so relevant to everything here about you stepping into a position of empowerment where you take charge of your own chariot. Intention is a focused thought. Prayer is a focused thought. Worry is also a focused thought. Notice the predominant thoughts that you hold in your mind, because these are actually sending a request into the universe. And if necessary, consciously make adjustments to your thinking patterns. Very powerful message throughout this reading. And this is the one change, guys, that you can do. Lean into the trust. Let go of stuff. Let go of those thinking patterns. Allow yourselves to have all that you deserve, and to step into that position of kind of conscious manifestation. We're going to draw just 2 more cards now, and then I will wrap up this reading. So we're drawing from the Moonology pack. 2 gorgeous cards. So one connecting into relationships, a new romantic cycle begins. Now, whether that is a brand new relationship, as we spoke earlier for some of you, or whether it is revitalized energy coming into a relationship, renewed passion, a relationship stepping up to a higher level of commitment, whatever it is, there is a new phase coming. It may be that for some of you, insecurities, self-doubt has held you back. You get to shift that this year, which is wonderful. We then have this staggeringly gorgeous card, prosperity lies ahead, new moon in Taurus. This is I feel like this is a year of evolution for you guys. Kind of, we have, some big astrological happenings going on. So I'll obviously speak about those as we travel through the year in the monthly readings, but there is so much opportunity for change in this reading. And I feel like you're so well on that pathway. I think you probably know about the insecurities that I'm talking about. It's just that they've been reticent to be let go of, and you are really being asked to let go of them. Actually, I'm being asked to draw 1 more card. It's really interesting. I thought we were drawing 2, but I'm definitely hearing to draw 1 more Moonology card. There I was wrapping up. Lovely. A time for healing. Very clear message. This aspect of self-doubt, guys, it goes back a long way. We often grow up in circumstances where that kind of residue is there. The challenge, of course, is that when it lingers, we see life through that lens. Self-doubt generates increasingly difficult emotions. When you have self-doubt, you often feel anxious about doing things. You get angry and frustrated with yourself when you don't. It raises so many emotions that it's really, it can cause so many problems. This is a time for healing and for completions. This is wonderful. There's so much opportunity, and it does feel like a very, very big year of significant breakthrough. I feel like you get to really put that stuff down properly. Finally, you get to lay it to rest. It's not like you've cleared it up a bit. You've cleared 1 room in the house and somehow there are still all the other rooms to do. It's like you clear the house. You really, really do, and the energy can then flow through you, and therefore you become far more active, far more aware in that process of conscious co-creation. Guys, there's so much healing in this level of work. Big respect to you guys, because I think you are very much on that pathway already. As I said, this feels more like a completion of the corners of the rooms rather than like starting afresh or even just attending to 1 room. It's bigger than that, and it frees you up for a whole new way of being, which is, to be honest, it's awesome. I don't know what else to say. Guys, so much love to you, and I look forward to seeing you for readings soon. Don't forget, these ones will be in the 2020 playlist, so as you travel through the year, if something happens and it reminds you of this and you want to connect back in with it, you should be able to find them quite easily by connecting into the AZ Emotional Health channel, obviously here on YouTube. So much love to you guys.